You here this morning at the DF Command Center. We are extremely sorry that we are starting belatedly, but due to intervening circumstances, we wish to apologize. We should have been joined here by many more other actors, but sadly they have had matters arising. First, I want to bring you warm greetings from the President of the DF, who is unable to be with us due to a death that you all know, a very prominent death in Masaka. Very prominent person died, and the burial process is going on now. He had to rush. He would have very much wished to be here with us. The Honorable Saddam Gaira, actually I've been waiting for him for the last 1 hour. He has had a minor issue, minor accident. Along the way, we thought he would have that one sorted very quickly, but sadly he has not been able to join us. With us this morning are key leaders. Most of you know. These are they have been around for some time, prominent political actors in Uganda. And I would like to introduce them before I give you the gist of why we are here this morning. This press conference is graced by the Honorable John Ken Ruchamzi, President of the Conservative Party. He is here with his Secretary General, Mr. Ukenya Kasozi, the CP Secretary General. The media event is also graced by Mr. Mabirizi Joseph, the CP presidential candidate. Dr. Swaibu Kagwa Nsereko, spokesperson of the Justice Forum. Mr. Nambale Sharif Sentongo, the Secretary General of the National Peasants Party. Mr. Basaja Charles, the Secretary General of the NEED. Mr. Sam Lubega Mukaku, the Chairman of the Democratic Front. Madam Mrs. Hadija Kizito, the Chairperson of the Inter-Party Women Platform. Kanso Nakanwaji, yes, and you know, our DF Deputy Women Leader. And the others we are going to get to know along the way. They are going to be introduced. And because we are lagging in time, I am going to invite right away the Honorable Samuel Begamkaku to come and present the background why we are here. Mr. Chairman, please come and take the floor. And
good morning, members of the press and the general public, colleagues who have already been introduced. We are having this impromptu interpolitical forces engagement this morning, especially after the unfortunate developments in our political backyard. You all know, while all of us are candidates, what Comrade Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago is going through. Comrade retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye and the others that he has been with. Comrades Muwanga Chivumbi, Mufumbiro, Eddie Mutwe, and many others, what they are going through is very unfortunate, very disturbing, and no Ugandan would wish them to be treated the way they are. So we come not just to commiserate with them, but also to show very strong solidarity, standing with them. First of all, in the condemnation, the strongest condemnation of those who have eventually decided to behave and to take this country to the days of Amin and those past regimes. Two, as Honorable John Kennedy Chams will expound and give a detailed thesis of why we are here. Generally, we are here to give a statement regarding this dangerous and disturbing state of political persecution, the overthrow of the country's constitutional order, and the extrajudicial handling of state affairs. The erosion of the rule of law, lawlessness, the growing political repression, and the weaponization of the criminal justice system in Uganda is condemned by the entities here present, members of the civil society, and majority Ugandans. The democratic forces and political leaders meeting this morning have unanimously expressed support for the joint opposition event held yesterday at Katonga. Thursday, 18th June, the PPF gave a number of those voices opportunity to make a statement. We are adding on to that, and we are imploring all Ugandans responsible, especially those in leadership, to do the same, because we cannot sit on and watch while this madness is taking place. The entities wish to further amplify and condemn the escalating acts of political repression manifested through unlawful arrests, torture, intimidation, humiliating and degrading treatment, violence against citizens, and the blatant disregard for constitutional governance currently unfolding in Uganda. The entities here present wish to further amplify and condemn. The entities here present further and more particularly deplore the troubling pattern of abuse of power involving trumped-up charges now used as a basis for the arrest and detention, illegal detention of political leaders, namely Dr. Kizza Besigye, Elias Lukwago, and numerous other political detainees, as I've already mentioned. These acts threaten the very foundations of the nation's supreme law, the constitution of our republic, Katiba Mkuu wa nchi yetu. The weaponization of the criminal justice system. The entities here present decry the weaponization of Uganda's criminal justice system. Police Criminal Investigation Department, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, courts of judicature are used in selective persecution and prosecution aimed at achieving political objectives, target opponents, and suppress dissent rather than pursue impartial justice. The entities herein further amplify and demand for, 1, the immediate and unconstitutional release of all political detainees. The PFF leader, Elias Lukwago, Dr. Kiza Besigye, Mwanga Kivumbi, and many other political detainees currently held in detention on politically motivated charges. Demand 2, we demand an end to arbitrary arrests and the weaponization of the criminal justice apparatus. That has resulted into painful, politically motivated prosecutions against political, media, and other civil actors and democratic actors. Number 3, demand. We demand an immediate end to all unconstitutional involvement of the military in the arrest, detention, interrogation of civilians, policing, and other law enforcement roles beyond their constitutional mandates. Here we don't need to name names because we all know those who are behind this. Number 4, we also demand for an immediate reprimand of all military and security officials involved in the torture, physical and psychological abuse, inhuman and degrading treatment of citizens. The issue of human dignity, human freedoms abuse, and the abuse of human rights is fundamental here. Nobody must have a free hand to do so under our watch as the responsible and the dutiful citizens of Uganda. Number 5, we demand for an immediate intervention of the Speaker of Parliament by instituting a committee to investigate the rampant excesses, impunity, suppression of the political freedoms, abuse of state power, and partisan involvement in politics by military officers. I repeat, number 5, demand. We demand for an immediate intervention of the Speaker of Parliament by immediately instituting a committee to investigate the rampant excesses, impunity, suppression of political freedoms, abuse of state power, and the partisan involvement in politics by the military officers. The center is crumbling, ladies and gentlemen. Entities are concerned, and democratic institutions are concerned about the unfolding events in the country, which point to a worrying trend of a center that is falling apart, unable to act, control, or call any officer of government to order. The country has since 1986 never been in the current state, with an apparent void in the government, leaving no one in charge. Citizens are raising questions of who is in charge of the Ugandan government now. Ladies and gentlemen, and you members of the press, we need to ask this question. Who is in charge of the Ugandan government as we talk now? There is a real fear of the subtle rebellion by rogue forces who have taken control of the state apparatus with reckless abandon or abdication. This capture is evident in the apparent helpless and the powerlessness exhibited by the President of the Republic, the Cabinet, Parliament, and Judiciary. All institutions unable to rein an errant military and security officers, now putting the entire nation at ransom and setting aside our Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude by making a very, very, very strong clarion call for transition. The entities will wish to rally the entire nation in demanding for a national conversation on democratic and orderly transition that will return the country on course. At this stage in time, we cannot wait for the regime to collapse and the violent takeover. It is only the way of transition that will guarantee peaceful and orderly power transfer, ensure continued stability, progress, and a prosperous future, and entrenchment of constitutionalism and the rule of law. Ladies and gentlemen, for emphasis, I want to read this. We who are here at this stage in time, we cannot wait for a regime to collapse and a violent takeover. And that should be for every dutiful citizen of this country. It is only the way of transition that will guarantee peaceful and orderly power transfer, ensure continued stability, progress, and a prosperous future, and entrench constitutionalism and the rule of law. We therefore call for an opposition joint action committee, because as political leaders, we cannot abdicate duty. We want, as political leaders, to take charge, because that is the mandate we were given by the citizens of Uganda. In light of the foregoing, the entities have deliberated and resolved to join hands with all the other democracy-seeking forces in united action, coordination, and execution of activities that will bring pressure to bear on the regime, and especially those errant government officials. In the same regard, all shadow state officials. In the same regard, the entities have resolved to initiate an inter-party dialogue on a joint action committee as a basis for building an all-encompassing and broad front of democratic forces, eminent citizens, civil society actors committed to peaceful and constitutional pursuit of democracy, justice, accountability, freedom, and national unity. Ladies and gentlemen, the entities remain firm, committed, and resolved in building a Uganda that works for all its citizens. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I now want to call upon Comrade John Kenny James to expound on the points here, and we shall invite the leaders of the entities here present in a 3 minutes address or 4 to try and have
concern over the circumstances that have led the state of Uganda to mistreat Elias Lukwago, the former Lord Mayor of Kampala, in the way they have done. Many people are scared about what has happened. Elias Lukwago is a man of joy. He's a man of dignity. And he has served Uganda for over 20 years with dignity and respect throughout the world. Nobody should have treated him like that. We are concerned about the manner he has been treated, and we think we must come up and defend his personal human rights. Just to answer the former speaker who spoke articulately about who leads Uganda today. We are in a crisis. You have the president and his son. Under Article 79(2), Clause 2 of the Constitution spells out a person who has got the mandate and to govern the country. The directives given by the son of the president are unconstitutional. It is only Parliament which has got the force of law to insult a law existence on any particular legislation. Whatever directives the son of the president is giving is out of place, it is unconstitutional, and judging from the contents of the Constitution, I could even say he has attempted to take over government. And the only person who takes over government out of law is supposed to appear in court and be detained and explain where he gets those powers. As a commander, as a CDF, I don't think he has the powers to make laws as he speaks out. We are so lenient with the people of Uganda. We should have woken up to take action and defend our independence. Nobody should sit on us simply because he's a son of the president. I am alarmed to hear that. And we are not going to keep quiet about that. The pronouncements the president's son has been making have violated these laws. Article 28 of the Constitution, Article 208 of the Constitution, Article 79, Clause 2 of the Constitution, and Article 44 of the Constitution. A person who goes to that extent in terms of abusing the Constitution deserves jail. We cannot simply sit. Why are we dysfunctional? We are dysfunctional because Parliament is equally dysfunctional. Parliament should have been the area which would have started the defense of the people's rights and the freedoms. It is on record that when Comrade Mukaku and the former Treasurer General of the Democratic Party were arrested in the same circumstances as Lukwago was treated at Makindye Barracks, I was in Parliament. I rose up as a member of Parliament to defend those people, and sooner or later they were released. I'm looking forward to seeing an action taken by Parliament to make sure that, come what may, Parliament should be able to sit and discuss the scandal of perhaps the highest magnitude in recent years. Parliament is supreme. The Constitution of Uganda is supreme. There is no reason why we should just sit. In fact, it is a shame, Mr. Chairman, sir, it is a shame to note that as we speak now, the highest organ of government, which is cabinet, is sitting in Kyankwanzi. How can a scandal of that magnitude take place when cabinet is sitting and is doing nothing and has not issued even a single statement? Are we governed by anybody now? This is a terrible state of anarchy. So the defenders of our freedom should be the members of Parliament. Parliament is seemingly dysfunctional. I call upon the Speaker of Parliament and the Leader of the Opposition to do all they can to make sure that they sit on an emergency basis to discuss the current crisis. Why has the rule of law gone to the dogs? It has gone to the dogs because Parliament is not functioning. It has gone to the dogs because the key players in politics, in accordance with our Constitution, are dormant. Political parties are supposed to be the vanguard of democratic practice. We are almost as if we are dead, and yet we are living. Can the Attorney General of Uganda give us a law that stops political parties from publicly articulating issues in public rallies? In the case of Uganda Human Rights Network versus Attorney General, the Constitutional Court resolved that a member of a political party can organize a meeting, address a meeting, or the public demonstration, provided police is alerted. But can any political party now hold a public rally? No. What is the basis of that stagnancy? We are stagnant on that point because there is no rule of law. Otherwise, you hold a public rally and you will be arrested beyond the scales of areas of work. So we have a big problem which must be solved without delay. I am very much concerned about what is happening in Uganda as we speak. In the case of Uganda versus Sekabira, you remember the crisis of Bugerere. Government took to court Sekabira and the others who were victims, who were tortured, and Justice Ochan dismissed the application of government. So with that experience, I do not see how the government of Uganda would have watched the torture of Lukwago in the circumstances they have taken place. With reference to that case I have quoted, it is a big shame to the government of Uganda and even the police and the security forces to practice what the court ruled out. I would like to invite them to revisit that case with reference to the Attorney General of Uganda. I am a little bit disappointed because now, where do we run to? Where do we run to as a country? I can see another Idi Amin emerging if we are not careful. What do we do? The best we can do is to act in the way we are trying to do. So I would like to give praise to our colleagues who acted yesterday. They pioneered the struggle, and we are marching on. Forces of change are not necessarily restricted to one entity. You can fight your way through a dimension of ways. Otherwise, during the struggle for liberation in the Museveni days, when those 27 people woke up to defend Uganda, they were not alone. They were joined by many alternative military forces to ensure that they get rid or they fight the enemy. I have talked to the family of Elias Lukwago, and the most scary part of the invasion was one when the security forces entered the gate and they started breaking the bedroom when Lukwago was inside. By the time they reached him, he was almost dead. That kind of torture should not have been experienced under the age of President Museveni, whom we gave support for so many years. He has been in power for 40 years. And for him to keep quiet when his son is torturing people the way he's torturing them is not acceptable. I call upon the people of Uganda to wake up and fight your way in self-defense. Otherwise, we are in trouble. Why did we support him in Ruero? I had a small kiosk around the Kabusu, you know, my small shop in Mutundwe. When they told me that the front line of the fighters has arrived at Wambisi, I told them, please, you come straight to my place. I will see whatever you find to give you. They ate all the mandazis free of charge. Everything I gave, I surrendered in support of their struggle. But when I see what is happening now, I don't know. We are in trouble, Mr. President. To my fellow political parties, I would like to urge them in the same way Mr. President, Mr. Chairman has done. I think the time is now for political parties in Uganda to think of working together. We may use several groups. Kenya has several entities on the opposition, about 3. Uganda may not necessarily be an exception. Because for anyone to effectively act over a fight of this magnitude, one must be free. The parties should feel free to act on the people who are trying to sabotage our rights. So it should not be surprising, I would like to pronounce, for the opposition to have several entities geared to fight Museveni and others. We may not use the same style for as long as the focus is uniform. With those few words, I would like to make an appeal to the state of Uganda governed by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. President Museveni, sir, many people have made noise about the need to talk. You have not responded. Article 1 of the Constitution says, power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people. But we have not shared the power that is articulated in the Constitution. Why? Because we have not had a free and a fair election for a long time. What the Constitution says that those people own power will periodically, regularly exercise their rights to choose the people they want through elections or referenda. Most of the elections we have held have been fake. So how do we get the right people? How do we get the right demands? I would like to propose that now that elections have not been useful, much as they are entrenched, the time is now for us to go to the Constitution, Article 178, to propose a constitutional amendment that the government of Uganda becomes regional, so that the 16 regions can respectively share powers to make sure that we fight corruption. We cannot fight corruption under this confusion. You need an organized trend where regions share powers so that respectively they can exercise those powers to make Uganda a better society to live in. Uganda became a nation in 1962, 61, 62, when a decision was made through consensus by 15 regions that they develop a federal system of government to share the powers between the regions and the government. As we speak now, everything is stuck. Why do you maintain parliament of 550 people? Why do you maintain cabinet of 82 people when India, with a population of 1.4 billion people, has a population of 600 MPs? Where are we going? You are keeping quiet when the country is disappearing, it is being dismantled by one man, one group. No, the time is now. You wake up, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, GF Group, political party leaders here present, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Stripe Kagwa Nsereko. I'm leading the Chema delegation to this event. General Muhoz, Jema has a special message for you. Our young brother, General Muhoz Kenerugaba, we write to you not as opponents, but as fellow Ugandans and elders who have witnessed several seasons of this nation. The course you have chosen cannot be sustained for the next 20 years, especially after Mzee's time has passed. Power that rests on force alone is brittle, but the scars you are inflicting on individuals, on families, and on the soul of our republic will endure beyond any term of office. History is patient, but it keeps a full record of all events. Each act of humiliation, each unlawful detention, each burst of pain inflicted upon will be accounted for. Often, the reckoning comes in a heavier measure than the offense. Uganda is wounded enough. We do not need new wounds. We need healing. We appeal to you to consider the reconciliatory approach. Sit with those you consider adversaries, respect courts of law you sought to defend, return the gun to the constitutional place under civilian authority. Trade the politics of fear with the politics of consensus. You are still young, General Muhoz. Your legacy is not yet written. You can choose to be remembered as a soldier who pulled Uganda back from the brink or a cliff, or in Uganda, Katiabaga. Not as the one who pushed it over there, where we are today. May God guide you to wisdom, and may He guide Uganda to justice. With concern and hope, Dr. Swaib Kagwansereko, Justice Forum Jema. This message has been shared with religious leaders, civil society, Uganda Law Society, diplomatic community, and political organizations, as well as the national media. Thank you.